Supreme Court, we have now been given two decisions by the U.S. Supreme Court regarding marriage in America. Our team continues our coverage. Shannon Bream of the U.S. Supreme Court, Brett Barrett, our bureau in Washington, Judge Napolitano with me here in New York. We have a decision on DOMA that came down 20 minutes ago. The Defense of Marriage Act has been struck down. So any state that recognizes gay marriage must also afford those couples the rights and privileges under federal law, protections that otherwise heterosexual couples would still be able to take advantage of today. With regard to Proposition 8, this now is likely to see further litigation over the question of gay marriage and whether or not that can take place in the state of California. But the ruling from a few minutes ago from the court means that the federal court ruling striking down gay marriage stands in the state of California. It was a 5-4 vote. I believe based on the count I'm seeing, Justice Roberts and Justice Scalia voted with three other liberal members of the court to make a majority and a 5-4 decision there. In all likelihood, in California, they will rely on this ruling to allow the resumption of same-sex marriage in about a month's time once they get through the procedures there in the Golden State. Now, Shannon Bream is back with us more. She leads this block of our coverage back on Proposition 8. What else do we need to know there, Shannon?
Well, Bill, you point out it's an interesting split in the justices who lined up together. And again, just to remind folks, this decision on Prop 8 doesn't get to the merits of what the Supreme Court thinks about the issue of same-sex marriage. It simply gets to these procedural issues about who had the right to bring this case. You have the Chief Justice, John Roberts, lining up with Justices Scalia, Ginsburg, Breyer, and Kagan, not a normal assembly that you see together. Dissenting, Justice Kennedy, joined by Thomas Alito and Sotomayor. Again, not the usual coalitions that you see, but essentially what they're saying is the people who brought this case all the way to the Supreme Court didn't have standing to do that. Prop 8 was passed in California banning same-sex marriage essentially by amending the state constitution. The governor, the attorney general, I believe also the registrar of records, there were 3 state officials who were named in that case. They refused to take the case. They refused to defend Prop 8. So again, it was supporters of Prop 8 who stepped into that role, hoping they could pursue the legal remedies. But what the Supreme Court is saying today, we have never upheld the standing of a private party to defend the constitutionality of a state statute if state officials don't choose to do so. They've said the Ninth Circuit opinion is vacated, and basically the parties are told they never had a right to appeal. So that leaves us with the district court's decision. That was from Judge Walker. A bit of controversy about him and some interests he may have had in this particular decision. There was a lot of back and forth about that. But basically what he said is that Proposition 8 fails to advance any rational basis in singling out gay men and lesbians for denial of a marriage license. Evidence shows Prop 8 does nothing more than enshrine in the California Constitution the notion that opposite-sex couples are superior to same-sex couples. That's that district court opinion that is now going to be upheld in California. So Judge Walker's decision there, which eviscerated Proposition 8, for now is going to be the law of the land. And as you said, it would appear that the logical process here is that same-sex marriage will be able to resume in California. This decision does not go to any other state, simply this California dispute, Bill.
Got it. So again, for our viewers, if you're just tuning in, the Ninth Circuit in Northern California, that decision has been vacated. And the lower court ruling stands, which means the lower court ruling ruled against Proposition 8, against the voters of California, who said marriage should be defined between a man and a woman by a 52-47% vote in 2008. To Brett in a moment. First, the judge on the split of